Was a record crowd watching the Wolfpack men's basketball men's basketball team take down their rival UNLV. A week later, the Fresno State Bulldogs are in the BLC for another critical Mountain West contest. Hello again, friends, and welcome inside Lawlor Events Center, where alongside the GOAT, Nick Faziquez, I'm Mike Stephenson, as we get set for February basketball. First home game in February for Nevada, and you know more than many, Nick, that's when things ratchet up a little bit.
Definitely ratchet up, Mike. I mean, you got to come out. This is going to be a big one here, I think, for both teams. Fresno's kind of coming in with not a whole lot to lose, sitting here on 11-11, and, you know, the Pack come off of that overtime loss where they kind of climbed the mountain, weren't able to get to the top there in overtime, but a little bit of a trap game here with San Diego State in the wings, but looking forward to a good contest tonight. That's
of course. Nevada will have the week off next week ahead of a Saturday game at SDSU. First things first, Pack and the Bulldogs as we jump into our player spotlight, brought to you by Renown Health. Top of the scouting report for Nevada is Jake Hydebreeder on the other end. He can really fill it up for the Bulldogs.
He does fill it up. He's an excellent scorer, excellent free throw shooter, Mike. It's something to keep an eye on. He shoots just
29 points in a miracle win earlier this week. Fresno State took down UNLV inside the Save Mart Center in Fresno. The Bulldogs scoring 12 points in the final 36 seconds. So yeah, they're coming in off a crazy one. Corey Camper Jr. coming in off of another career high. He dropped 35 big ones on the road at Boise.
And Corey just keeps setting a new career high. It feels like every single night Corey's coming out shooting the ball better than he did the night before. I mean, he was on fire against Boise. Got the Pack all the way back into that game, but I mean, he just shoots it. The sets they run for him are great, and a lot of fun to watch that kid shoot the basketball.
Back-to-back games, back-to-back career highs for Corey Camper Jr. What does the Pack and Bulldogs have in store for this one? We got starting lineups and tip-off next here in Reno. The fireworks going off in Lawlor. We're nearly ready to play basketball. First things first, let's introduce the third member of our team. It is Shannon Kelly, courtside. Hey, Shannon.
Mountain West regular season play is winding down, and the pressure is ramping up as it approaches March. Nevada head coach Steve Alford said he told his guys they need to be able to handle the pressure of playing meaningful basketball in February. And he added, if we want to compete against the upper echelon of this league, we have to be on point defensively. Meanwhile, at Fresno State, head coach Vance Wahlberg and his squad come into Reno coming off an emotional high after that huge victory against the Runnin' Rebels the other night. Coach Wahlberg said that is the craziest game he has ever been a part of in his 48-year coaching career. So he hopes it'll certainly be a turning point for his team here in Reno this season. And on another note, we'd like to pass along an injury update as Nevada's Joel Armo-Trading is available for this contest. He started the first 7 games of the season after suffering a chest injury in the Washington game on Thanksgiving, so that would certainly give Nevada some more help up front and around the rim.
Shannon, thank you so much. Big get for the Pack to have Armo-Trading back. As we dive into your starting lineups, there's Fresno State, Hyde Breeder, David Douglas Jr., Bastian Reber, Wilson Jack, Deshaun Gorey, the standout freshman. Your starting lineups brought to you by Champion Chevrolet. For Nevada, it's a lineup we've seen a lot of late. Tayshawn Comer, your starting point guard. There's Corey Camper Jr. coming off back-to-back career highs. Von Weems, the other guard. Your forwards, Caleb Lowry and Elijah Price, the, of course, Fresno State transfer who had a big game in the first meeting between these two in Fresno just over a month ago. But here we are, February 7th, playing Mountain West basketball. Let's get things rocking here in Lawlor Events Center. The ball is tipped. Tip-off brought to you by BTX Logistics. Let's hoop as the guys work through the early game haze that shows up with the pyrotechnics, Nick.
A little bit of pyrotechnics before the game always makes it fun for the fans, Mike.
Right down low to Lowry they go. Quick shot up and over, no good. Rebound, Hyde Breeder. Long, lanky guard who can really shoot it. Here's Reber. Now Hyde Breeder. Bulldogs will work it around now. Douglas Jr. with Lowry chasing him. This is Reber, back to Douglas. Under 10 to shoot. Price tips it out of bounds. Bulldogs ball, 6 seconds to get up a shot.
Very methodical first possession. A lot of kind of going back and forth there, dribbling, coming back, keeping it on the left side. 6 seconds to go for the Bulldogs.
Reber inbounding. There's Hyde Breeder. Creates a little space, takes some contact, and that's what he can do. Whether outside or in, he is a crafty player. We talked with head coach Steve Alford for Nevada in the lead up to this one, and he said he's an Indiana guy, so he knows how to cut and he knows how to shoot. And you saw an example of it there. He gets to the line.
Like we talked about, Mike, he's a just sub 90% free throw shooter, which anyone that knows, if you can get into that 50, 40, 90 club, and 90% from the free throw line can always be the most trickiest part, just because you get a couple that don't go down and it just kind of tanks your percentage. But I would expect Hyde
Junior, his first shot up and in. 5-4 early Bulldogs lead. We're in 2 minutes into this ball game. There's Gorey trying to go up and over. Tipped by Camper, but right into the waiting arms of Jack. The lefty hook is good.
Jack with a nice lefty hook.
Before you can blink, Weems is firing a 3, right wing, no good. And here comes Hyde Breeder with a full head of steam. Douglas Jr.'s 3, no good. Douglas Jr.'s only field goal in that win over UNLV Tuesday came in those waning seconds. What a meltdown for the Runnin' Rebels, which of course Pack fans love to see wherever it is.
Nutty game, and that's why you get to play this sports, right? You get everything on paper, and you kind of look at it. You maybe, you got these spreads now, and you can look at that. You can kind of assume who's going to win and who lose, but
Ball could have never projected that one with all the stats coming in.
And I think sometimes he kind of second guesses himself, and then he kind of chatters. He does. It was kind of nice for him to get to guard the smaller four. And Joel combination once again.
That is certainly not what they envisioned. Games with that chest injury. The transfer. Boy. Right place, right time. The three ball's in, and it's a quick start for the Bulldogs.
Fresno's just methodically I mean, it's.
Two for two is Price. First sub of the game will be Chuck Bailey III as Lowry takes a seat. Maybe 1A on keys to the game for Nevada was get the bench going. Just 3 points in over 50 minutes of play in that Tuesday game at Boise State. Coach Alford quick to say that bench needs to be more consistent. They have confidence in that group.
This is a bit uncharacteristic with how deep Fresno knocks another one, but Nevada's kind of hung their hat all season on the depth that they've had. They've been able to go 8, 9, 10 deep from the very get-go, and very uncharacteristic that the bench couldn't do that. But Fresno has clearly come here into the biggest little city ready to go.
How about Reber hitting his first shot, the freshman out of France. Already hit his 2.9 point scoring average. May have gotten some contact on that three as well. Wasn't called. Price will shoot it at the free throw line. And that's the kind of shot Fresno will take all day from Elijah.
They definitely will take that. I mean, you're going to live with Elijah shooting. It's not a shot he's comfortable with.
Douglas Jr. left short, but that's another good look for Fresno State as here comes Comer the other way. He'll stop and pop it. Mid-range, short. Bailey got a hand on it, but bounces it to the Bulldogs, and here comes Reber.
Almost a weird energy right now, wouldn't you say, Mike? I mean, if you're not in this building, it seems pretty flat. The Pack seem a little bit flat. And I think Fresno kind of sees an opportunity sitting here in front of them.
Fans waiting for something to cheer for as Jack tips his own miss in, and that is certainly a mismatch thus far. Down low is the big fella, also from France and also a freshman, gets his second bucket. Bailey's three, in and out. And the tension builds for Pack fans as Reber goes all the way, can't get the bucket to fall. He's behind the play now. Bailey this time will put his head down, drive, leans, three.
That'll help. Pack are very, very tough when they can get stops and they can get out of transition, right, Mike? We've seen it all year, and you can get easy looks. If you can get that three-point shot going, that's when the Pack really, really start to roll. But they got to get stops. I mean, Fresno's definitely been able to kind of like pick them apart with a couple passes back and forth. And as far as good contest.
Bulldogs looking bouncy early on, riding a 6-point lead into the first time out of the night.
Sports fans, we cheer on our favorite teams at fields, gyms, arenas, and stadiums. But have you ever wondered what it's like to be a referee?
Like they're number one.
Just over 6 minutes into this one, the visitors with some early energy and a 15-6 lead for Fresno State. Alongside Nick Rizquez, Mike Stephenson here, thrilled to have you with us wherever you may be watching, whether locally via Nevada Sportsnet or elsewhere through the Mountain West Network. Seeing the Bulldogs already with an advantage off of turnovers and 5-0 second chance points.
5-0 second chance points. I mean, Fresno's just playing with better energy. I mean, offensively, they're getting better looks. The pack look a little bit flat, and as we've been saying, Fresno kind of sees an opportunity sitting here, and you got to start early. You want to hit first. That's something that you can set the tone, especially on the road with.
Bailey's three, halfway down and out. Into the game for Nevada, Amir Robinson and Tyler Rollison. In for Fresno State, Zayon Collins. As well as Cameron Foss. This is Collins with Weems on him. Out to Gorey. And down to Jack. 5 to shoot, it's Heidbreeder with it. He'll try to bounce it down to Jack. Jack's got to hit the deck. Ball going to end up in the hands of Weems. Solid Nevada defense. Pack trying to turn it into offense. Weems, left wing. Lips out. Students were ready to explode. Instead, it's still a 6-point Bulldogs advantage. Worth noting, also Nevada without one of its key bench players, the freshman Peyton White. Not even in the arena. He is sick tonight as Heidbreeder's three is a little strong. So subtract White. Ideally add Armo trading. We'll see if Joel ends up making his return here in this first half. Meanwhile, a foul is called into the game. Jariah Coleman, as Elijah Price will take his first seat. Jack sits down for Fresno State. Enter Gasper Kosovar.
Will be interesting to see when Joel checks into this game and kind of what maybe, how in shape he is and kind of his rhythm. I'm sure Steve has a pretty good understanding of where he's at, but I think it'll be fun for everybody in this building to kind of see what he looks like and kind of maybe the rust or maybe lack of rust that there is with Armour Trading when he does check in.
Robinson off the fake, fires. A touch strong. Ball grabbed by Foss. Bulldogs have it.
Bit of a lid on that basket down there.
And how about Fresno State currently doubling up Nevada on the boards? 10-5. That is a trend that is going to have to change if Nevada wants to rally back in this one. Corey going to rim out. He'll get to the line, though, as we hit the under 12 timeout. Both teams, we'll talk about it again. No scoring since we last left you. 15-9, Bulldogs lead.
Credit Union One Free Checking has everything you need to bank on the go, make deposits and more with our highly rated mobile app. And get your direct deposit up to 2 days sooner with CU1 Early Pay. Open your account in minutes at creditunion1.org.
Gatorade has the #1 proven electrolyte blend, designed to hydrate better than water, made to rehydrate, replenish, and refuel, so you can lose more sweat and run the game. Gatorade, is it in you? Pickable.
Is brought to you by your Northern Nevada Toyota dealers. Toyota, let's go places. And by Renown Health, offering the area's first integrated academic health system.
Welcome back to Lawlor Events Center. The Wolfpack welcomed a record crowd of 11,997 fans here at Lawlor Events Center in Nevada's last game against UNLV. And the student section was a big reason why we're hanging out at the Wolves' Den. More than 2,200 students were here during Nevada's game against UNLV. More than 1,600 students were here during Nevada's game against Grand Canyon. So 2 record student sections the last 2 games here at Lawlor Events Center. And head coach Steve Alford said after that game against Grand Canyon, the students were a huge reason why the Wolfpack was able to pull it away in overtime.
Shannon, thank you. Yes, it was quite an environment last Friday. A rare Friday night game here inside Lawlor Events Center. They announced 11,997. There was some fan pushback and wondering if maybe they've seen more butts in the seats, even going back to your epic playing days. The school announced it. We're going to roll with it nonetheless. There weren't many open seats, and it was plenty loud in here.
It was super loud. It was a super fun environment. I'm going to have no say in the record setting, but nonetheless, it was a lot of fun that night. Big win against the Rebels. And yeah, I mean, you love to see when Lawlor's build up that high because it's a really fun venue when you can get that many people in this place.
Collins, bit of a quick shot, hits the glass and nothing else. This was after Nevada had turned it over. Pack one of its last 8 from the field. Nearing 3 minutes now of a scoring drought as the Bulldogs are bringing it on both ends, now up 8.
Can't find a way to get any rhythm here offensively, and Fresno just methodically just playing a very boring basketball game, I guess you could say.
Now 5 to shoot. Mir Robinson gonna have to do something with it. Into the paint, around the defense, not gonna go. And that's exactly the kind of shot you want if you're Fresno State. Collins with a head of steam. Foss left open as Coleman snatches the rebound. Jariah Coleman, the kid out of Alaska, playing a lot more in the absence of Joel Armo trading. Here's Rawlison trying to maneuver his way in. Ends up in the hands of Coleman. He knows what to do with it.
Those are the easy ones that can break you out of a little bit of a
is presented by your Northern Nevada Toyota dealers
trend
and by Renown
Anytime
Health.
you can get a dunk, it's definitely beneficial to get the easy ones and keep getting stops. I mean, that's the thing that kind of happened at Boise for the Pack is that I think a lot of what happened, Mike, was the offense was just so poor, and playing as long as I did, you could always sense that when the offense was poor, it kind of seeped into the defense. I know a lot of fans and a lot of people that maybe might be the novices, they always just think the offense is what can bring momentum, but there's a lot of the defense as well, where it's, if you can get defensive stops and you can kind of come down and you can shoot threes and you can get into an offensive rhythm via the stops that you get defensively, it can build offense as well. And obviously vice versa, right? You're knocking threes down, you got a little bit more energy because everyone's shooting the ball, and now you're defense. But it's kind of now 2 games in a row here for the Pack where their defense has been a little lackadaisical and it's seeped into the offensive end, and you got 11 points with halfway through the first half.
This is almost right where Nevada was Tuesday in Boise, as Heidbreeder just finds a lane and just flings it up, takes the contact, much to the chagrin of the crowd. He will get 2 free throws. Coach Alford letting the officials hear it. And yes, it was a 30-10 deficit about 12 minutes into that game in Boise. As you get another look there, maybe with the offhand there by Robinson.
I mean, can't always be rewarded when you're playing poor basketball. As Heidbreeder misses, I didn't think we'd see that tonight, but maybe the ball doesn't lie. That's the cliche statement, right, Mike? Is the ball doesn't lie. So
well,
maybe he didn't get fouled.
If you weren't going to say it, you know I was. And now a chance of Sonic Blast, Phil Lawlor Events Center. We'll rarely see Heidbreeder miss 2 in a row. Nevada once again found itself down 20 as you get a look at Coach Wahlberg. Down 20 at Boise. Battled all the way back to force overtime. Tayshawn Comer, part of an epic second-half comeback for Nevada. In that overtime period, though, advantage Broncos. Nevada leaves with that tough 91-87 loss. Would have been a big road win for the Pack. Certainly got to have this one if you're Nevada. Bailey with it. Once again, 5 to shoot. Nevada working it down again. Camper, right place, right time.
Nice play there by Chuck to kind of just take his time. He didn't have anything. Get it to Corey in his little sweet spot right there in the elbow, and that's a money shot there for Corey.
Bulldogs have only hit 1 of their last 9 shots, still holding on to a 5-point lead, though. Reber back in. Reber, pardon me. Collins swinging it. Douglas Jr. re-enters. Misses the 3. Up high for it is Rollison. Rollison was the hero in the early January meeting between these 2 teams. He'll take his first shot. Left it way short. Coleman puts it back. Is fouled. He'll head to the line. So early energy off the bench for Jariah Coleman.
Good energy from Jariah. He's definitely been kind of a little bit of a bright spot, right? I mean, Jariah's a big body. Had that ball kind of fall right into his hands, which nothing wrong with that. Right place at the right time. I can remember doing that plenty of times. But Jariah's been, he gets out in transition. He's obviously a great shot blocker. He dunks the ball a lot easier than I used to, I can say that. But definitely been a bright spot as Joel has kind of been out of the lineup for so long. And, yeah, the Packer kind of searching for anything here as they kind of subbing in guys in and out, trying to find any sort of rhythm offensively to try to break out of this. But, I mean, Fresno's got no field goals in the last 5:45, and they're still up 5. That's probably a big bonus or a big positive over there for Coach Wahlberg and the Bulldogs.
A lot of other Mountain West teams might have extended that lead. Yes. No disrespect to the Bulldogs, but a prime opportunity for the visitors, and yet to really take advantage of it as Nevada tries to claw its way back. Coleman goes 1 of 2 at the line. He entered tonight 60%. He takes a seat. Price is back in. Weems as well. And Comer. Douglas is in the corner. Another look for Douglas Jr., and this one goes through, his second 3 of the night. He's letting them fly. 2 of 6 now.
2 of 6, yeah. Like you said, Mike, I mean, this is almost the same spot that the Pack were in against in Boise, and they did extend the lead, right? I mean, I think it was like 32-11 at that point, and right now 14-21. I mean, the Pack got to be feeling pretty lucky that that's what they're sitting.
It should be worse, right?
Yeah, it should be a lot worse.
Price up and in, his first field goal right at the rim. Expect him to continue to put his fingerprints on this game against his former program. 1 year with Fresno State. Makes a Mountain West transfer move to Nevada. Tries to get that one, but Gorey. Long.
Really nice floater. Nice touch there by Gorey as he went up and over Elijah. I like that shot.
And he's a kid that's really coming along as a true freshman. Coach Wahlberg saying, I'm loving what I'm seeing on offense. If only he can keep that energy on the defensive end. Weems, three, too strong. And there's Gorey with the rebound. Rebo, look down low. Price gets his hands on it. It's a turnover. Pack has numbers. Weems, count it.
Really, really strong part of Vaughn's game is when he can get into transition and he can finish at the rim like that. That's definitely his specialty when he's shooting the ball like that.
Momentum into the break. 23-18 Bulldogs lead. Armo Trading will enter when we return to the biggest little city. You're watching Pack Hoops on NSN.
Old Trapper.
Get upgrade and be in the best seats like our guest tonight. Stop by RC Willie at 1201 Steamboat Parkway.
First visit is just $29.
We're back in Reno. Good one brewing between Nevada and Fresno State. While we have a second, we would love to look at the last meeting between these two because it was a doozy. First game of the new year for both sides. Nevada visiting Fresno State. Worth noting, the Pack has really dominated this series as of late. Boy, this game came down to the final few frames as it was in the balance with seconds remaining. Tyler Wallison, that's a game-winning bucket. That's not easy either. Left hand, right side.
That is not easy, and he was able to get around Highbreeder there and finish, like you said, with that left hand on the right side. But we know TR's got that ice in his veins. We watched him make those 3 free throws against GCU to take that into overtime. But yeah, that was a big win on the road. Very low-scoring game there in Fresno, and just a must-win when you do get into Fresno because that's a game that, you know, a lot of the teams that are over the top of the conference are going to win.
All right, here is Joel Armo Trading. First time on the floor since Thanksgiving of 2025. What a welcome sight in Nevada's Thanksgiving Day loss to Washington. He took an elbow to the chest. He has spent the last 2+ months waiting for it to heal as Weems completes the three-point play. And the big fella is back for Nevada, and no one happier than that man, Steve Alford.
100%. I mean, to get this Joel Elijah, you know, mixture back and kind of just, I mean, it was working, right? I mean, it felt good when that happened, and just a really freak injury against Washington. I just remember watching the game, and it was like you didn't even really think anything happened, and then just 2 months later, he's finally back in the lineup.
Armo Trading out of the UK, and it would appear that he is wearing some sort of chest protector as Gorey's three at the horn. Nothing but the bottom. The Fresno fans in attendance are on their feet. Officials want to take a look, though, as that may have still been in the palm of his hand, although live and with the light on the backboard, it felt like it looked good. We're going to hang out and watch it back. It'll be hard to tell on that one. Of course, he felt good about it.
Hard to tell, but like you said, Mike, live it looked like he got it off.
I think neither of those angles will give a 100% correct
inconclusive
answer.
evidence.
And it's got to be conclusive, as we know. As the Bulldogs will await right now, sitting with a 7-point lead. And yes, officials rule. 3-point goal is good, and I was way behind the line. Oh, yeah.
Big time shot by a big time freshman.
Bulldogs going to need a few more of them if they want to lead the BLC with a win, but so far so good, a 26-19 lead. Of course, Fresno State thinking it should have won this game back at the Save March Center just over a month ago. Rollison proves to be the hero as Nevada sort of, don't want to say steals that win, but certainly wins it in dramatic fashion and sends the Bulldogs home sour, so they would love to return that favor here in Reno. And just over a month later, ball back to Fresno State off of another Nevada turnover.
Fresno has definitely come out and hit first. They've definitely come out and captured the momentum, kind of taking the air out of Lawlor. That's pretty evident right now if you're sitting here courtside. There is not a lot of energy. You can probably hear these guys calling out screens because there is not a whole lot of noise in here, right?
I'll tell you what, there's a good crowd, too.
Yes.
And they have yet to really have much to go crazy about as Douglas Jr. misses. He's 2 of 7 now from deep. He going to keep shooting them. Approaching 6 minutes to play here in the first half. Pack trailing by 7. Pack has trailed the whole way.
Yeah, one thing to note with Joel is I mean, he's got that protective, whatever it is underneath there. You obviously can't see. I can remember when I cracked my ribs and took a shot to my ribs. It was definitely like a protective thing that you take some time to get used to, and then you kind of need to take a hit before you really know what it feels like. Because in practice, you're probably kind of gingerly going through it. Of course, there's not as much live practice here in February as there is in November. And until you take that first hit, it's kind of always on your mind of what it's actually going to feel like.
Got his hands on the ball there, and he's got it under the rim. Off the glass, the block. Oh, but they'll call a foul. The block looked clean by Gasper Kosovar, but with the body, that may have been a different story. It'll send Armo trading to the line. Coach Wahlberg giving the official who made the call a bit of a look.
And you can see Coach Alford was definitely trying to get Joel into the game and get him a rhythm, so you could see they ran that set specifically for Joel as he knocks the free throw down. And positive sight to see him making free throws, and I mean, he looks good. I mean, he looks like he's moving well. He's not huffing and puffing. He looks like he's in good shape.
So far, so good for the big guy. 6 points, 5 rebounds he was averaging before he was injured. A block a game as well. Just under 80% from the line. He's 2 for 2 to start. Hyde Breeder with it now. Bulldogs with the ball and a 5-point lead. 6 minutes left here in this first half. First home game here in February for the Pack. Collins drops it down low. Up in the air goes Armo trading. A nice patient move and bucket there by Kochevar.
Good action there by Zayon as he kind of trapped Miles there and found an angle there. Got Joel in the air for an easy 2.
Price goes baseline. Camper's open, but he stepped out. A rare mistake by the Pack's leading scorer leads to yet another Nevada turnover. Bulldogs right now 4 of their last 5.
Very, very weird rhythm in this game right now. It's just, there's not a whole lot of energy, I just feel like, on either side, right? I mean, Fresno's kind of methodically running their sets, doing their thing, but Nevada just kind of looks out of sorts right now.
I think that bleeds into the broadcast as well, as we're trying to find our rhythm. Oftentimes the game leads us. As Corey has it off the bounce pass, back out to Reber. Big shot in front of Price, left it short. High up for the rebound is Camper. Here comes Miles Walker, the freshman recently checking in and stopping and popping way off. And then Armo trading adds insult to injury, commits the foul. Reber hits the deck. Ball back to the Bulldogs, and yet again another empty possession for the home team.
21 points here is just not what you want. I mean, I've always been a firm believer, Mike, that when you're a good offensive team, it's obviously it can be kind of a, what do I want to say? It kind of can be a bonus to where it's like certain teams can't get into the 80s and 90s, right? There's just certain teams that offensively that don't have that firepower, so you can kind of come out and you can win games just by getting to 85 against some of the teams that might be lesser than you. But you start playing games in the 60s, I mean, you're liable to lose to anybody. I mean, you can go down the street and go play McQueen High School and you can lose to them if you score in the 60s. So I've always been a big component of understanding that sometimes it's good to get into those high-scoring affairs because you can kind of just run guys out of the gym rather than playing these low-scoring, because anyone can get to 60.
This is exactly the kind of game that Fresno State wants to play if it wants to leave Reno with a win and get to a winning record, 11-11 right now. 11-11 right now. The Bulldogs are coming off just a 6-win campaign a year ago. I think some credit should be thrown Coach Wahlberg's way as Price's three is left short. Pack really struggling now, 1 of 10 from deep. Gorey cross court, Hydebreeder. That's an open look. He'll leave it short. Into the arms of Armo Trading it goes. Now here comes Price the other way. I should say Walker. Lowry back in, catch and shoot. Ball goes right to Walker, back out to Camper.
Second chance points, that's what you need to get this ball rolling, I think, for the Pack, is the easy, set up there for Corey. Get a little bit more energy, a couple people clapping here to try to get past his 4-point lead.
The crowd is slowly starting to awake itself as Gorey floats and misses. That was the Pack's first make in some 3 minutes. Down 4 with the ball. Walker with a head of steam. Back out to Lowry. He'll fake it. He's got a seam. Not going to get the and one, but he will get 2 free throws. Momentum on Nevada's side. Pack still trails by 4. 2 free throws to come when we come back. You're watching Mountain West ball here in the biggest little city.
Also celebrated Pittsburgh Coach of our second personal team at Center Club Bulldogs, Nevada now in the bonus. Media timeout on the court.
Tonight here in Boise.
Is pumping at the pit. This place is electric.
Old Trapper Beefs.
Nevada Sportsnet is brought to you by Renown Health, Nevada's first integrated academic health system, and by BTX Global Logistics, your hometown freight forwarder, handling your international and domestic shipping needs.
Back inside Lawlor Events Center, Nevada spending most of this first half trying to claw back, as we want to let you know the Renown Health halftime report is on deck as we sit down with one-time Fresno State Bulldog turned silver and blue standout Elijah Price. Of course, highlights and analysis as well, and if time permits, a fun feature as the Pack spent some time with some local Make-A-Wish families. We'll work that in wherever we can. Your Renown Health halftime is soon to come, but first things first, Nick Vazika, as the next 3.5 minutes of this first half, Nevada certainly wants to dominate.
Definitely want to dominate, want to try to climb this mountain, probably get that lead back going into halftime and kind of have an understanding that He didn't shoot the ball very well. It's 2 of 10 from 3 and 8 of 23 from the field. And if you can go into halftime with a lead, shooting those kind of percentages, you got to imagine it kind of evens itself out into the second half and you start making shots and maybe pull away from Fresno. But like you said, big 3.5 minutes going in here where momentum could really shift one way or another.
47 shots between the two teams, 28 of them from behind the three-point arc. And just 7 makes out of those 28. Ball up, Highbreeder to the pack. Scoring drought for Fresno State approaching 3 minutes.
Fresno losing a little bit of rhythm here offensively, and Pack trying to capitalize as you can hear the fans get into it a little bit more.
Certainly can credit that Nevada defenses. In our chat with Coach Alford, that was the first thing he was quick to mention. Defensive habits were slipping in those first 10+ minutes at Boise State. Trying to get back to their bread and butter is Nevada. Bailey with it now, already under 10 to shoot. He'll take the screen from Coleman. The float game left short. Rebound to the Bulldogs, and Jack Manny recently checked in. 3-ball from Highbreeder is no good as Coleman goes way up for that board.
Right, looks at the top of the rim when he goes and gets those rebounds.
Rollison thought about it for a second. Instead, they'll swing it around. Camper has it now. 7 points to lead the pack. Bailey's corner 3. Another one halfway down and out for Chuck. As now Nevada is 2 of 13 from deep in this ball game.
Have to find somebody to make some threes going into this second half. I mean, it's just going to have to happen if you want to try to pull away from the Bulldogs.
Lowry chasing Reber, kick out. The 3-ball, no good for the big fella Manny. Rollison the other way, under 2 minutes to play here in this first half. Pack still looking for its first lead of this ball game. Slowly but surely working its way back.
Just a deja vu game of the first one where it's just a low scoring, a lot of missed shots, no rhythm.
And the mid-range, Lowry is good. Foul call on the floor. Bucket, I believe, will be good. Foul will go on Nevada, though. It goes on Chuck Bailey. So Lowry, a nice mature shot from the 5th-year player.
And you know, Mike, I've seen Lowry sometimes get stuck almost like where he likes to shoot the 3. There's no questions asked, and I think he has the capability to shoot the 3. And there's been times that I have seen him take that one dribble and not really be sure if he should shoot it or should he go. And I do like that shot for him where he takes that one dribble, you know, a couple feet inside that 3-point line because it's just a really in-rhythm shot.
We got a 30-second timeout. We'll hang out. Caleb Lowry, 4 years at the NAIA level. He was a star for the Masters University in Southern California. Certainly has a D1 body and a D1 game, but you don't just show up to Nevada and play in the Mountain West and immediately make an impact. He has shown what he is capable of here and there, and that was a nice confident shot to tie this game up. Pack with a 7-0 run to climb back as now the scoring drought for the Bulldogs is nearing 4.5 minutes.
And like you said, I mean, Caleb was a star at the Masters, and I mean, he could score the basketball. I mean, he was north of 2,000 points, and you know, doing that at any sort of university, even at the, I mean, nowadays even at the high school level, like getting 2,000 points is no joke. So it's like it took him a little bit of time to get into the lineup. I know early in the season, I think Coach Alford was having trouble probably trusting him, probably mostly on the defensive end, just because he's kind of he's got a little bit of a tweener. Like you said, he does have a D1 body at like that 3 spot, but he kind of has to guard 4s, and he's a little bit undersized. But his scoring ability is definitely good enough to hang around in the Mountain West Conference. And, yeah, great shot by him, and it's something that I enjoy seeing when he takes that one dribble pull-up.
Suddenly it's a brand new game. They're tied up at 28 as you're looking at the Campaniata Group rebound tracker. At one point, Fresno State had Nevada doubled up. Wolfpack, I think it's not a coincidence, closed the gap on the boards and have closed the gap on the scoreboard.
Yes, they have. I mean, you get missed shots and you tend to get more rebounds. It's kind of just how the math works out, Mike. And the Pack have been getting more and more stops, which equals more and more rebounds, and they've been making more shots, which is going to be less rebounds for the Bulldogs. So, like you said, brand new game with a minute to go, and kind of don't really know which direction this game goes at this point.
Compelling one way or another as Collins fakes, fires right into the palm of Coleman. It's a block shot. Under a minute to go, Pack has it. Chance for Nevada's first lead of the game. That went off Collins' foot. They'll roll it a kick ball. He initially disagreed.
I think he kicked it.
He won't fight it too hard, though.
I do think he kicked it.
He's trying to say, no, he threw it off my foot. 28 all, 52.4 on the clock. We expect to get Coach Alford's first half thoughts immediately after the horn.
The Pack they love the two big action on the block, and they run the shooter back and forth. And if you can just catch defenders slipping or sleeping, I mean, it can be a long night. We watched that against UNLV where Corey was kind of running back and forth, and UNLV got tired of chasing him, and you could just see where it was just kind of like, just the monotony of it just got old.
Oh, and he made him pay. Career high 32, then he resets that career high Tuesday in Boise with 35 big ones. Worth noting, he had only taken one shot through that first 12 minutes. He still ends up with 35 points, so he can fill it up in a hurry. I say that all to say there's a lot of ball game left. Under 10 seconds left here in this first half. Bulldogs trying to take the lead. Gorey going to have to shoot it with Lowry all over him. The fadeaway three. Not going to go. And after 20 minutes, we are right back where we started. It is a tie ball game. And Shannon Kelly is with Steve Alford. Take it away, guys.
Coach, a late 7-0 run there to tie the game. Just what adjustments do you feel like you guys need to make on both ends of the floor to try and get some rhythm?
The first 5 minutes, we guarded really well. They got 15, first 5, 13 the rest of the way. So offensively, we missed some easy looks, but they're doing a good job defensively, so we got to make some adjustments offensively.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you, guys. Knotted up at 28. It is time for the Renown Health Halftime Report. Coming up next, we're sitting down with Elijah Price here in Reno.
So there you go. We were knotted up at halftime, as they said. We're right back to square number one. It's tied 28-28. Nevada, a little bit of a slow start. Fell behind as much as 8 points. The score was 17-9, but they came back, fought back, and we're gonna see who takes it in the second half. We know that Corey Camper in their last game, Nevada lost in overtime to Boise State. That was their second straight loss. At the time, they fell down to 5th place. Coming into today, both Grand Canyons lost earlier today on Saturday. Nevada is back in the tie for 4th with a chance to take back that 4th place spot and position for a first-round Mountain West tournament bye if they can get past the Bulldogs. Fresno State, meanwhile, is in 8th place but can get up to a tie for 6th if they can hang on and beat Nevada. Corey Camper scored 35 points in Nevada's overtime loss to Boise State. 91-87 was that score on Tuesday. That was a season high for Corey Camper. Nevada's done pretty well at home, 11-2 at home. However, Fresno State is more at 500. They're at 5-6 in the conference and 6-4 in games decided by 10 points or more. But we're gonna see, this game is probably gonna be a single-digit game. Nevada's just 5.8. Nevada scores 5.8 points more per game than Fresno State, and averages 1.6 more points than Nevada allows on defense. They score off tonight for the first time in Mountain West Conference play this season, and it seems like it's going to be a good one. The 3-point percentage, Fresno State, although it's pretty much the same, both percentages are low. Nevada's is horrible at 14%. That's probably the differences in this one. Fresno State is just hitting their shots behind the arc. The halftime is about to be back in about 12 minutes, but first, I want to go through this bracket matrix. I've done this in the past streams a couple weeks ago, and we'll do this again. So this bracket matrix takes 110 brackets now, everyone can submit their own bracketologies. They can say bracketologies of their projected seed lines for each team in their tournament, like their March Madness Tournament predictions. There's 110 of them. I just X'd it out. There's 110 of them, and so basically this is a pretty good consensus of what like the media thinks instead of just like one source. Obviously, you got ESPN in here, you have CBS, Fox, you have some bigger names, but it's combined with a bunch of different media sources, media outlets. So this is pretty much like the national consensus. And then as we just look at this, Arizona's #1 seed, they are still undefeated. Miami of Ohio is still undefeated as well. And I believe in the last stream, Nebraska was the 3rd undefeated team, but they lost both games to Michigan and Illinois. Went on a little bit of a losing streak. They did beat Rutgers today, but we were down to 2 undefeated teams. And I did say in my last stream who I thought would be the last undefeated team. And I said Miami of Ohio, just because we know of how big of a gauntlet, how much of a gauntlet that these conferences are. And why not just take a look at the standings real quick. And so you can see the Mountain West standings, what we're looking like right now. Nevada has a chance to take over 4th or be the sole possession of 4th place. They'll fall back down to 5th with a loss. Fresno State can get up to 6th, a 3-way tie for 6th, but will also fall down to 8th place with a loss to Nebraska or to Nevada. But let's just look up through the conferences. You have New Jersey Institute of Technology leading the America East. I'm just going to go through this. Wichita State's there. Wichita State's been a mainstay. They've been pretty good historically. Tulsa is leading it with 20-3. 20 wins on the season. Not a bad season for them. St. Louis is ranked. They're 23-1. That one loss being an excruciatingly painful loss. A very close, very well could have been a 24-0 undefeated team, but they come in at 19th ranked in the nation. Duke is at number 4. They lead the ACC, but if you're keeping up with college basketball right now, they just got upset by North Carolina on a buzzer beater. That was a dramatic finish that happened about 30 minutes ago, and they will fall to 10-2. Clemson takes over sole possession of first place at 10-1. NC State's there, Virginia's there, North Carolina, your standard college basketball, like you can say like blue bloods for I guess in UNC and Dukes, but NC State, Virginia's had some pretty good seasons as of late. Final 4 appearances for both teams. Gauntlet as per usual in the Big 12. By the last stream a couple weeks ago, every single team had a winning record. That's not the case anymore, just as more conference games were played. But this conference is just so deep as it is year in and year out. UConn is at number 3 in the nation right now. St. John's, Villanova. Villanova's come back. They had a slower start. Seton Hall had a fast start. They were ranked at some point in the season. They were ranked back in January. But that bad loss to UConn by like 30 points knocked them out of the rankings, and they really haven't recovered since. You have Winthrop and High Point in the Big South. And then here's the Big 10. Pretty deep as well. In Michigan, Illinois, Nebraska, all top 10. Michigan State as well. Michigan State had a good win today as well. As we move on, we expect to see a lot of tournament teams. So many teams with just single-digit losses so far. The Colonial Athletic, Charleston, UNC, Wilmington, and Hofstra are your leaders for that conference. It seems like those 3 have been leading the Colonial for most of recent history. The Conference USA, Ivy League, Harvard, and Yale are leading that conference. Pretty good, very fun conference to follow. The MAC, Miami still undefeated, 24-0. Missouri Valley, Mountain West. Missouri Valley's had some pretty good Cinderella teams as of late. We move down to the SEC, not as deep as some other years and years past. But you do have Florida. Kentucky's on a little bit of a hot streak as well. And then you just have a bunch of schools lower ranked. Interesting thing about the SEC as we just look through the rest of the conferences. Obviously, Gonzaga had that bad upset loss to Portland. That was Portland's first ever win over a top 10 team in program history. And yeah, that's it. But yeah, in the bracket matrix, the SEC doesn't have their highest rated team is a 4 seed out of the average of 110 brackets. So I think that's just kind of interesting. So we're going to predict this bracket real quick. This is what I've done also in streams past. And we have about 5 minutes left until halftime return, so I'm going to try to do this quickly. But teams you see in bold are your projected conference champions. I do think New Mexico gets past Cal, and Texas gets past Ohio State. Vermont over Long Island. Vermont's been in the tournament for a lot of years in recent history, so I think that tournament experience will help them here. And then UNC Central over Bethune-Cookman. Arizona, I do think, can get past both Texas A&M and UNC Central. I do think the Aggies will get past the Aggies in Utah State. Both teams the Aggies, but I do think Texas A&M will get past Utah State. Arizona over Texas A&M. Tulsa, I think, can get past BYU. And Texas Tech over Utah Valley. The Big 12 is deep, but Tulsa is a feisty 12 seed. I do think Texas Tech gets past Tulsa, though, setting up a nice Big 12 matchup here. Could there be an upset? But I don't think so. I think Arizona just has enough firepower, still undefeated, and I think they can carry their momentum. Speaking of momentum, two teams on momentum right now, St. Louis, New Mexico. Lots of winning on their parts, but I do think St. Louis gets past New Mexico. Gonzaga gets past Irvine and St. Louis. Gonzaga making, I know their Sweet 16 streak, like 10 out of 11 years or 10 out of 10 years was snapped for the first time in, I guess you can say 11 years now, last season, but I do think they get back to the Sweet 16. Story program in Gonzaga. St. Mary's always a dangerous team in the tournament, but Iowa's on like a 6-game win streak. I do think they can get past St. Mary's. Nebraska over Portland State. That would be Nebraska's first ever tournament win in program history. They're the last team of the Power 5 conferences to do so. Every single other school has had a March Madness win. Setting up in Iowa, Nebraska, Big Ten rivals in the second round. I do think Iowa can upset Nebraska. Nebraska is just so inexperienced in the tournament, not a lot of luck, and I do think Gonzaga gets past Iowa, and that'll set up a matchup for the Final Four. I do think Arizona gets past Gonzaga. Gonzaga really, their stock went down after that Portland loss, but we'll see how they recover. Connecticut beats Merrimack. Wisconsin over Villanova. North Carolina over Yale. That buzzer beater was crazy. They'll probably move up a seed line. We'll see what the averages do. Virginia over High Point. I'll take North Carolina over Virginia. And Wisconsin to lose to UConn. I'll take North Carolina over Connecticut. I know Connecticut won 2 of the last 3 national championships, but don't think North Carolina can do much here. I don't think they can do much against North Carolina, as UNC gets the slight 5-1 upset. St. John's over Texas. I feel pretty good about that. Michigan State over East Tennessee. And then Michigan State over St. John's. Both storied programs, but I do think St. John's or Michigan State can get past St. John's. Indiana got back in the tournament field. They had a rough January, but they're back in it. Same with Illinois. Just like Iowa, Nebraska, we have a Big Ten second-round matchup where I do think Illinois can get past Indiana. And then another Big Ten matchup for Illinois, and this is where I think they'll fall. Michigan State with the 3-2 upset over Illinois. And Michigan State and North Carolina for a spot in the Final Four. I have Michigan State. Both teams very hot. Both teams have a lot of momentum, but I do think they can get it. Michigan over Vermont. NC State over Georgia. NC State made a Final Four appearance. They've had a lot of NCAA tournament success, but I do think they'll fall to Michigan. Tennessee over Belmont, Vanderbilt. I do Tennessee, then Michigan. And then Miami over Ohio, I do think they're undefeated right now. I do think they can beat Louisville. Purdue over North Dakota State. We're going to be back from halftime in a couple minutes, so we're going to wrap this up. I do think Miami can upset Purdue. Purdue's had a lot of bad luck in the tournament. Lost to several double-digit seeded teams, and I think they'll lose to another one in this tournament. Kentucky will ride their momentum. I think they can get past UCLA. Both story programs as well, lots of history. Both teams probably blue blood status, you can say. Iowa State over UT Martin, but I do think Kentucky can get that 7-2 upset. Iowa State's rebounding nicely. I know that once they lost a couple more after that. Once they lost their undefeated streak, like when it rains, it pours. But they've rebounded nicely, got back up to that 2 line. But I just like Kentucky in this matchup, and I do like them over Miami. I think that's where Miami's road will end. So into the early day, I do think Michigan can get past Kentucky. The SEC is probably just as a conference a little bit of a down year. Duke over Navy, UCF over SMU, and Duke over UCF. Alabama over Liberty, UNC Wilmington over Florida. I like that as a nice little upset. Maybe can I ride them up to the Sweet 16? I can. I'll do so. I'll be bold in this video. Colonial teams have just been really good. I'm just impressed by them. Miami, Florida over Arkansas. Kansas over Troy, and I do think Kansas can get past Miami. Kansas has started to become irrelevant again. They've had a couple of down years lately, but they're back into things after a slow start to the season. Kansas really getting some momentum. They get a Sweet 16 matchup I'm projecting against Houston, and I'll pick them over Houston. Picking a lot of upsets. I don't know. That's just how the cookie crumbles, I guess. That's just the spirit of March. We had that this past Wednesday night. We had 3 top 25 teams go down, and I just think this will be a crazy year. So many contenders. It really doesn't seem like one team can run away with it. One team hasn't ran away with it so far that we have seen. So we're gonna have a lot of contenders for this tournament. I do think Duke gets past Kansas, despite that buzzer beater loss, and I do think they'll fall to Michigan. I think Arizona will beat Michigan State as well. Setting up a championship matchup between Arizona and Michigan, and I'm going to pick Arizona, the #1 overall seed. They're still undefeated, and until I see it, I'm probably just going to be, until I see it and I'm proved otherwise, I'm just going to ride the Arizona train right now. So right now, I do think Arizona can get past Michigan for the national championship. Until I see them lose, I'm just going to pick them to win. Seem like a basic, like a generic prediction, but a lot of chaos, but I have faith that Arizona can get the job done as of now, especially being so battle-tested in the Big 12. So tip-off.
I mean, it was the first half. First 10 minutes was all Fresno. Kind of second was maybe lack of Fresno and more so Nevada. But yeah, both teams kind of just haven't played their A game like we just kind of talked about. And I think it's going to be interesting to see who does come out with that A game and kind of comes out and takes that second punch, and maybe someone can pull away here.
Shannon Kelly visited with the Bulldogs. Shannon.
Hey guys, I spoke with Fresno State's assistant coach Tyler Johnson. He said he felt like they got out to a great start defensively. They were talking, and that's going to be a big key here now in the second half with not having the bench right beside them as they're going to be shooting the other way. But he said if we can continue to get good shots, not get out of control and turn the ball over, he feels like they'll have a good chance of coming away with a victory here tonight.
Thank you, Shannon. Yeah, first few minutes feel very significant for both sides as Tyler Johnson now on the Fresno State bench. He had a nice little career in the NBA.
Yes,
Pretty cool to see him out here.
He had a great career in the NBA.
He was a good player.
Really good player.
Second half action is here. Bulldogs have it first. It's Reber with the rock. We've got a whistle. Shot clock did not run, and neither did the game clock. Only 1 second ticked off. More than 1 second were played. They'll tick it down to 19:57. Shot clock to 27. And now we'll resume the second half. Be interesting to see the adjustments made in the halftime break as Douglas Jr. has it here, trying to go down low for Jack, pardon me. I'm curious, Nick Vazekas, having been a part of a lot of halftime breaks, how much can you adjust within a given game? I've heard some professional athletes say halftime adjustments are a little overrated.
Probably a little bit overrated. I think there's definitely maybe trying to find a rhythm as an individual, but I feel like, an adjustment, it's kind of difficult. I mean, unless some teams just completely running the same set over and over and you just haven't figured it out, or but I think a lot of it just kind of is mentally locking into the game plan. Coach Alford and even Coach Wahlberg, they have the game plan that they want, and it's just a matter of, are you executing it? And I think sometimes you go into halftime where maybe there's a little bit of a reset just from an energy level standpoint. But, the game plan is set. Coach Alford's not going to go into the board and try to write a completely different game plan down just because you might be down 10 or up 10. So.
First shot of the second half for Nevada is a 3, and it barely graces the rim for Lowry. Meanwhile, on Fresno's end, Fresno State's, you saw Reber with a nice patient pump fake bucket The freshman got Weems off the ground, and now Gorey, another freshman, rattles it through, and this looks like the Bulldogs that began the game with a 9-point lead.
Another just flat atmosphere here as Fresno just kind of takes control.
Price putting in a heck of an effort, not rewarded with the bucket, but he will get to the free throw line. Coach Wahlberg doesn't like the call. As you can already tell, a couple possessions in, there is a concerted effort to try to get Elijah some good looks.
Elijah just maybe not as much energy as you're kind of used to. I mean, with only 2 rebounds, I mean, that's just kind of out of the ordinary for what Elijah brings, and very automatic at the free throw line here of late. But I kind of wonder, with the portal, Mike, it's like I wonder what it feels like to maybe stay in conference, but you're now wearing the silver and blue instead of wearing the red, and then you kind of go play the Bulldogs. I mean, of course, Coach Wahlberg and the majority of his staff probably know the weaknesses of what Elijah is, and I didn't get to experience that, so I just wonder what it feels like for Elijah to play against the Bulldogs again, and this is the second time this season. It just, I don't know, it's got to be some weird feelings as you kind of know a lot of the guys on the roster and you know all the staff.
Well, you said it, as Comer commits the foul some 80-plus feet away from the bucket. You saw Price get the quick pull there. Less than 90 seconds into the second half, Armo trading is into the game. Price did have 3 first-half fouls, certainly impacting his aggressiveness. And I was at that game in Fresno early at the start of the year, and he was quick to admit afterward this one meant a little more, and it was circled on the calendar when that schedule first came out. You don't see a ton of inter-conference transfers, and so you said it. I can imagine it's awkward to say the least. Douglas Jr.'s 3. Not going to go. Jack, though, on the rebound. Reber will fire one up. Yeah.
Fresno coming out, knocking them down early here in the second half, and this crowd's going to get a little more restless if you keep this up in the second half.
You said it a couple different times, Nick. This is a Fresno team with not a ton to lose. 2-game winning streak, 11-11. They already know if they want to play in the postseason, they probably got to go win the Mountain West tournament or make a deep run. Nevada, this is a must-win for Nevada as Weems gets right to the rim. Glass in good. This is a Pac team that's already slipped up a couple times at home. Don't want to do it again.
Yes.
Sometimes the pressure is even more so on the home team, right?
Yeah, it's 100% true where it's just you're at home, and I mean, yeah, you got to find a way to beat a team that you are technically better than. I mean, on paper, record-wise, I mean, you've already beat them at their place. It just becomes a little bit of, like I said, the game plan, and that maybe that's the adjustment at the second half where it's like you score 28 points. Do you walk into to halftime and feel like you played the best? Did you run as hard as you could? Did you try to go get every rebound? And maybe that's something where your mindset could kind of come into the second half where you're doing things a little bit differently. But other than that, I mean, you just have a nothing to lose team with a team that has a lot to lose.
And that's quite frankly exactly how we've seen this game play out thus far. Weems, 3, a little strong. Bulldogs have it, up 3. Yet to trail in this game is Fresno State. Douglas Jr. has shot nothing but 3s so far. Works his way into the rim, works his way to the free throw line, although he certainly paid for it. Still on the ground is David Douglas Jr.
David Douglas gets in here, makes a nice move, and then runs into a big Joel Armitage. I think he fell on his tailbone, which is not a fun place to fall on a hardwood court.
The Green Bay transfer will head to the line for the first time tonight. 2 of 8 in the ballgame, all from deep. 75% he is. First one, nothing but the bottom.
Nevada needs to find some. They need to find some energy. I don't know if it's going to come from the bench. We talked about how they only scored 3 points against Boise off the bench, and it's like, is there going to be a bench? Is there going to be a big play? I mean, it could end up being none of that. Fresno could walk out of here with a win, but they got to find somewhere. They got to dig a little deeper to try to figure out what's going on here.
Right now, 5 bench points for Nevada. Just 2 for the Bulldogs. Douglas Jr. sinks them both. It's back to a 5-point lead for Fresno State. Here comes Tayshawn Comer. Right now, 0 for 1 in this game is Comer, coming off a big-time effort at Boise State. He almost single-handedly brought the pack back in that second half. Lowry going to get open. Corner 3, lets it fly. Lips out. Collins corrals the rebound, and now he's got 2 Nevada defenders all over him. He'll get rid of it. Scary territory here for the Bulldogs, but they get it across. And now have a touch of an advantage. Heidbreeder cannot take advantage. Ball rolls toward the out of bounds and bounced off of Armo trading. Credit Kochevar with the heady play there. Kochevar is a freshman from Slovenia, as this second-year roster for Vance Wahlberg, some 75% new players this year. It is a melting pot.
Melting pot. Kind of seems like that's what happens for the mid-majors in general, right? The pack had 10 to start the season, and it just it's got to be hard to retain guys at the mid-major, because if guys come out and ball and play well, then you got the Carolinas, the Dukes, the Kansas that are definitely ready to write some big NIL checks for some guys that have proven they belong.
Or the Nevadas, perhaps, in the case of Elijah Price. Right. Boos raining down as Nevada wanted a jump ball call. Instead, it's whistled a foul. Camper going hard to the rim. I should not say Nevada wanted a jump ball call. They wanted a foul call there. Instead, it's ruled out of bounds. 16 minutes left here in the ballgame. Pack down 5. Step back, Weems, way short, barely grazes the net. Comer's going to fire from deep. It's strong. Look at Weems skying for the rebound. Tayshawn gets another look. Nice pass down to Lowry, up and in.
Second chance points. I mean, you're going to shoot him, and you're going to miss him, especially the three-pointers. Mike, that long shots equal long rebounds, and it's another way to score.
Collins takes the screen, hesitates, kicks it back out. Bulldogs with the ball up 3. We'll get a timeout at the next whistle. Students starting to get loud. Gorey wants to quiet him down.
Gorey made some timely big shots, even in that first half. I mean, he made some tough ones.
He's up to 12 points, leading all scorers. Fresno State's last road outing last week at Air Force, that was a big double-digit win for the Bulldogs, as Heidbreeder played against his former program. Heidbreeder just hit the deck. Comer now with under 5. He's got to just fire it. Take it any way you can get it, Nick.
Good answer by the pack. Here we go. Get some loudness here at Lawlor.
Weems in the passing lane. Comer steps through the defense, is fouled. Will they call it a shooting attempt? We will soon find out. It will be 2 shots after the break. Pack down 3. Lawlor starting to liven up here in the biggest little city.
Cameron Claus, that's his first personal team, 3rd on the Bulldogs. Media timeout on the court. Hold on tight, Reno. The ride of your life.
Chris, we probably need to hit the joint adjustment.
Sports fans, we cheer on our
Copy. We're going to go with that. Connect on the long ball. Okay. Adjustment of the game.
Wolfpack Basketball on NSN is brought to you by BTX Global Logistics, your hometown freight forwarder handling your international and domestic shipping needs. And by Renown Health, Nevada's first integrated academic health system.
40-37, Fresno State leads Nevada. Taking a quick look at our adjustment of the game, brought to you by the Joint Chiropractic. Easier said than done, Nick Ozikas. Connect on the long ball, sure enough, coming off a nice three-point make from Tayshawn Comer.
Easier said than done tonight, but as a scorer myself, Mike, and a guy who used to shoot the ball, I always felt like there was the law of averages, right? I mean, Nevada is by no means a 15.8% three-point field goal shooting team as they shoot 3 of 19, and so I do think there becomes a little bit of a balance here where it's like Coach Alford probably tells these guys to continue to shoot it confidently, and you know, you see Tayshawn knock this one down, but you want to shoot it confidently, you want to instill the confidence, but at the same time, you probably don't want to shoot more threes than twos going down the stretch because it might not be your night as well. But big law of average guys here where it's like eventually I feel like the lid has to come off from deep.
And that, frankly, maybe wasn't the best look. The shot clock was just winding down. He's got the ball in his hand. He's just got to fire it up. So maybe that's what gets the pack and its fans fired up as he goes 1 of 2 from the line. Nevada still trails by 2 and now showing some pressure. Bulldogs break it. Collins, head of steam, kicks it out. Ball tipped around. Back to the Bulldogs. That was Cameron Foss with it there. Now Gorey with the hot hand, checking Price, floater left short. Price tips it around into the hands of Coleman. Here comes Camper Jr. One man to beat. Camper puts his head down, rolls off the rim. Out of bounds, ball to the Bulldogs.
Nevada showing some press. It looks like Coach Alford probably came out of that timeout and wanted to change up the rhythm a little bit, Mike. I mean, Elijah's, they're putting on like a man press here.
Of course, this is the Bulldogs team we talked about.
They do turn it over.
They turn it over a lot. 328 in the country, some 19 turnovers a game. And Coach Wahlberg was quick to lament on those issues and just say, man, we cannot keep shooting ourselves in the foot. It's been a theme this year. Collins left it short. Tried to maybe get some contact there. Nevada defended it well. Now Comer's heading the other way. Step through, everything but the bucket for Tayshawn Comer. And now the Bulldogs run. Gorey's ahead of Weems. Back out Heidbreeder. Quick shot 3. Yeah.
Fresno's building some confidence. You can see Gorey kind of flexing his muscles, and you can see that you let a team stick around, Mike, and they can bite at the end, and it can sometimes just be a couple possessions here and there that just kind of gets the confidence for Fresno as the clock keeps ticking. You get closer to the end of this second half, and just breeds confidence when you can stay this close on the road.
You saw Gorey sort of had that look in his eye when that 3 went in from his teammate, looking around the crowd as if to say, you guys stay quiet. We're going to keep doing our thing. Gorey and Heidbreeder have played all but a couple minutes of this ball game thus far. In for Nevada, Bailey, Rawlison. Now Coleman's in there with Camper Jr. and Price. Again, no Peyton White tonight, and he has been an impact freshman as a first-year player. Not even in the building as he deals with an illness. Camper catch and shoot 3, left it way short. Right to Gorey it goes. Bulldogs have it back.
Gorey just not with the same rhythm that he had in Boise, right, Mike? I mean, it's just like he's getting these screens and he looks like he's on balance, and it's just like they're not even, I don't want to say remotely close, but I mean, that one barely touched the rim.
He's 3 of 8 coming off a 14 of 22 effort Tuesday in Boise. Heidbreeder with the big Coleman on him. Passes tipped and stolen by Price. One man to beat. Elijah right to the rim.
Transition. Get stops, get buckets. I mean, that's the way to get back in this thing and kind of take over.
Gorey right to the rim. You talk about mid-major guys that are going to get some looks. I hate to speculate, but I can imagine Gorey's phone's going to be ringing.
Yeah, I'm sure it already is, Mike. I'm sure it already is.
No comment there. It's an interesting period in college sports we might look back on and wonder about in some years to come. Price went up for the rebound. Looked like he was held down, and he was. A foul will go on, I believe, Douglas Jr., who then, to his credit, gives Price a high five as if to say, my bad. Bulldogs with a 5-point lead. We're taking a break. 11:36 left in the second half.
Number 15, David Douglas Jr. First personal team foul on the Bulldogs. Media timeout.
Today's broadcast on Nevada Sportsnet is brought to you by The Joint Chiropractic. Visit 5 Northern Nevada locations. Your first visit is just $29. And by Toyota. Let's go places.
Welcome back to Lawlor Events Center. When speaking with Bulldogs head coach Vance Wahlberg, he told us Fresno State went the international route this offseason. There's 7 international players on the Bulldogs roster, so more than half of the team is bilingual. In total, the team can speak 13 different languages, so from French to Hebrew, Italian, you name it. But Makan Diouf of Senegal, he tops the Bulldogs roster and can speak 5 different languages.
Color me impressed, Shannon Kelly. How about that? A League of Nations on the Bulldogs sideline. And admittedly, Coach Wahlberg, and he's been open about this to the local media, Fresno State's NIL situation leaves a little bit to be desired. And he admitted that was part of why we had to go the international route, because we, quite frankly, cannot afford a lot of these American players.
Kind of a good roadmap for teams that maybe don't have the NIL to kind of look overseas. And you can definitely put a roster together, and it's probably got to be a lot of fun for these guys with the camaraderie and kind of like learning about other cultures, especially when you're picking from Europe and obviously Africa. I mean, you got guys from all over. I don't know if the 13 languages is too helpful inside the locker room, but at the end of the day,
they might have to hire a translator, a well-rounded, maybe multiple, as you saw Price go up strong with the left, back to a one-possession game, approaching the midway point of this second half. You can feel the tension rising on each possession as both of these teams try to pick up a big win for different reasons. Down low to Jacket goes. Gorey on the cut. Oh, he'll miss the dunk. And he'll hear about it from the silver and blue faithful. That was sort of one of those tweener plays as Camper tries to answer.
Here it is. Here's coming the rhythm. Here come the pack.
What a big swing, Nick.
Big swing. 5-point swing when you get an easy dunk. Get Gorey to flex again, and instead he misses the dunk, and Corey standing wide open in the 3.
Gorey going to take a shot to the face right there, as it looked like Rawlinson maybe inadvertently made contact there. It'll get him to the line. This is a welcome pause in the action for Fresno State right now.
Anything to kind of tame the rhythm of the missed dunk in the open 3. They're going to take 2 free throws. As you see Gorey here, definitely got Definitely got knocked upside his head there.
He took some contact. I don't know what Rawlinson was thinking, maybe with a slight complaint. First free throw, no good though. As it is certainly the loudest it's been all game long here at Lawlor Events Center. Last time out, the energy was high from the opening tip. Of course, a different red team was here in the running Rebels. Gorey's second free throw, not gonna go.
Maybe TR had something to complain about. A little bit louder.
Knotted at 45, under 10 to go. Rawlinson, patient, floater. Foul, Reber. And now it's gut check time if you're the visitors, and this is a young group, a lot of international players. They've certainly played in tight games this year and coming off a miracle win. Can they do it on the road, though? As now we get a look at Nevada's free throw proficiency, one of the best teams in the country, tops of the Mountain West. Right now, 11-13. That has been a part of Steve Alford's DNA throughout his entire career, certainly here at Nevada.
Definitely something to hang your hat on when you're making those kind of free throws. You're able to slow the game down, and you're able to break the rhythm of the game if you need to, right, Mike? I mean, at times when you're able to make free throws at a very efficient rate like the Pack do, you're stopping the clock, guys are getting a breather, plus you're getting 2 points back on the board, plus the clock is working in your favor. But also a great way to get back into games, but big-time run breakers when you can get to the free throw line and knock them both down.
And you talk about a run, it's 7-0 for Nevada and a first lead of the ball game for the home team. It comes after the 10-minute mark of the second half. Over 2 minutes without a point for the Bulldogs. Who will break the visitors' drought? Collins will try. He's going to have to shoot it. 3 on the shot clock. Step back jumper. Left it short. Ball into the hands of Lowry. He'll look to push. Reset with Rawlinson. Bailey's got a head of steam. Tough shot. Not rewarded with a whistle. Bulldogs have it back. Weems tips it off the knee of Highbreeder. Bailey going to get another chance. Lowry on the putback.
Big time putback there by Caleb. Big time, because Chuck got a little out of sorts there and forcing the Bulldogs here into a big time timeout.
Timeout, Coach Wahlberg. He wants to discuss, I think, things with the officials and with his team. We'll take it too. Pack has the lead, the momentum, and the fans at Lawlor finally on their feet. 49-45, Nevada leads. A lot of ball game left. We're back in a flash.
Today's broadcast on Nevada Sportsnet is brought to you by Campani Auto Group. Visit Dick Campani's Capital Ford and Carson City Toyota, because cars cost less in Carson. And by Savage & Son, serving the Northern Nevada community for over 130 years.
things can change in just the span of a few minutes. Over the last 2:14, it's a 9-0 Nevada run. Over the last 3:05, Fresno State hasn't moved on the scoreboard. Stuck at 45 points are the Bulldogs. They have the rock now, and Nick Vazquez, I know there's a lot of ball game left, but this feels like a very significant possession for Fresno State.
It is a very significant one to break this 9-0 run, try to find a bucket, because it's getting louder here in this arena, and you can tell the Pack are kind of looking for a little bit of a way to pull away here. I wouldn't say the knockout punch, but it's like, you know, you want to kind of start extending this 4-point lead if you can.
Reber with Rawlinson on him, under 5 to shoot. Right into the hands of Lowry. He telegraphed it. It's another Pack steal. And right back down to Caleb. The bounce pass goes. Watch out for Elijah Price. He had top 10 Sports Center dreams on that one, Nick.
Elijah looked like Dwight Howard during the NBA dunk contest. I mean, look at where he jumped from. I mean, he stepped on in the middle of the MW, and I mean, he wasn't even remote. I mean, I don't know if he was going to dunk down on the play school hoop. But, I mean, that's 2 free throws.
Talk about going hard in the paint, though. I will say, Wilson Jack is tough to move. He sort of just said, you're going to stop and just jump straight up in the air right now. Gets him to the line for 2, though.
Wilson Jack is not happy. But, I mean, aggressive play. I mean, you want to shoot free throws. I mean, that's what Nevada's good at. And, I mean, it definitely probably was a foul. I just think it was a little bit of an abnormality of a play when you try to dunk the ball from that far with a 7-footer, and you got to be jumping pretty high to do something like that.
Tell you what, though, Price knew what he was doing as Jack is back on the bench and frustrated as he now has 4 fouls in this ball game. Price, though, cannot make him pay at the line, but how about Von Weems? The lefty using the strong hand, bringing down the offensive board. Free throw blockouts are something very near and dear to Coach Alford's heart. And sure enough, the Pack gets another chance at the stripe.
Unacceptable play. I can remember when I was at Pacific and I missed a free throw blockout when I was a freshman at Pacific, and I didn't think I was going to get to go home on the bus that night. That's how
they're leaving you in Stockton.
I thought they were.
Weems gets it to go, so new life on this possession for Nevada, courtesy of Von Weems, who really has been a steady producer for Nevada on both ends of the floor. Self-proclaimed himself this week on the Wolfpack Coaches Show as the best dunker on the team. That has proven true in a couple different moments throughout the season. Coming from the JC level, where he was one of the best players in the country at North Idaho College. Not a bad place to play college ball, Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
Great golf course in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. With
you would say that.
With the moving par 3.
The floating green, yeah.
The floating green.
Iconic. You take a little boat out to the green. But we digress. Bulldogs going to try to get back in rhythm here and get to the line. Although perhaps that's a foul on the floor. I think it is. Baseline out of bounds. Coach Wahlberg, you can see top left of your screen, disagrees. He wants to see his guy at the stripe. Camper Jr., meanwhile, will check back in for Lowry. Big stretch for Caleb Lowry. He brought a ton of energy on both ends.
Caleb's a great guy that's kind of been inserted, like we were talking about. In the beginning of the year, it kind of took a little bit of time for him to find his place, and now he is that starter. And there's nice he plays more minutes than others, but offensively he can bring something each and every night. And when he's bringing it defensively, he's definitely a positive for the Pack on both sides.
Another foul call here on the floor as it goes against Nevada. Both teams will now be shooting free throws the rest of the way. Bulldogs will inbound here. Nevada still on a run, 11-0. Bulldogs still stuck at 45 points as that drought nears 4 minutes of game time. And I think the Pack deserves a lot of the credit for this scoring drought.
They've been putting a little more pressure defensively. I mean, Fresno State's their passes have just been very error-ridden. That's been very apparent as they've gotten more and more turnovers. Wow, that's a crazy call there, but Vaughn flew up high to get that rebound, and Fresno's really struggling to score right now on that 4-minute drought.
Fresno gets new life and a new possession as Weems is called for the travel. That leads us right into the under 8 timeout. I know you're not going anywhere, folks. 51-45, Nevada leads. The boos rain down. We're back in the biggest little city in just a minute.
We are just having a great time with some of the local Make-A-Wish families.
Excited?
Let them interact with the players, be out on the floor, make some shots.
Oh, yeah. I think it's a great experience, just giving back. There you go. One kid, he couldn't even sleep the night before, so that puts a smile on our face.
This was a few Sundays ago. What a cool scene as the Pack welcomed a handful of Make-A-Wish families in for practice and a pizza party, autographs all around. Nevada over the last handful of years has leaned into Make-A-Wish specifically, but the team also does a lot of children's hospital visits, Boys and Girls Club. You see Tanya Alford, the amazing wife of Coach Steve Alford. That's a big part of being a D1 athlete too, is just putting some smiles on faces, right, Nick?
It totally is, Mike. I mean, I was a big believer, and I still, even up to this day, when it's like you're idolized, right? I mean, you've got kids that look up to you whether you realize it or not. I mean, even if you're not playing that many minutes, just being a Division I athlete is huge. And I sign every autograph, right? I mean, there's going to be at some point at time that, you know, this is obviously the peak of some of these guys' careers, and signing autographs and making a kid's day is just like, that's something that you're never going to be able to do your whole life. I mean, 20 years down the road, no one's going to be asking for your autograph. So it was always good for me, and it was always fun to sign as many autographs, because you can remember when you were a kid and you got so-and-so's autograph, you'll never forget that day the rest of your life. So definitely something to treat very carefully as a Division I athlete.
Yes, and the guys were well aware that some of those kiddos involved on that special day have frankly been to hell and back. And they're well aware that what those kids and those families have went through is much harder than anything these players have to go through. And it's not easy being a high-level Division I athlete. But that, I think, was certainly a grounding, humbling kind of night for them. And we were happy to be a part of that via Nevada Sportsnet as well. You saw Reber take a knee, it looked like, to the thigh. By the way, with your jersey hanging up in the rafters forever, there'll be a lot of folks that still learn about you 20 years from now. I'm excited to teach my kiddos one day about the great Nick Fazekas.
I appreciate that, Mike. I mean, yeah, we never got in touch with the Make-A-Wish, but we tried to do a lot of stuff with kids and camps. And like I said, it's so memorable. And it's like you think about that next generation. You think about the kids that are going to want to play basketball 10 years from now. That's kind of where things change. That's where culture changes. And I've seen it firsthand, you know, playing so many years that I did in Japan. And I've watched that kind of like form into what it is now, where the national team is now this and that. Yeah. And, you know, qualifying for World Cups, playing in Olympics. And it's like, that's because of the kids that want to play now 10 years from now. So it's a big thing. And like I said, it needs to be treated with respect. And you need to understand that you are being idolized whether you realize it or not.
So well put. Pat got to the line. Comer missed the front end of the one-on-one, but it's another offensive rebound, and it's Rollison making it worthwhile. His first field goal. Nevada's lead is up to 8, largest of the game. And this one slowly but surely slipping out of the hands of the Bulldogs as Comer will be called for the foul. That'll get Heidbreeder to the line. And this now nearly 5-minute scoring drought has a good chance of ending with the 90% free throw shooter heading to the stripe. These are scary hours, though, if you're the visitors right now.
Very scary hours. I mean, this is when the crowd's going to start getting into it. All these shots are going to be a little bit amplified. Each and every make that goes through is going to be a little bit bigger than what it was in the first half. And Fresno's in a little bit of the danger zone. You'd hope that your A+ free throw shooter knocks both of these down to get this at least back down to 6. But yeah, Fresno's in the danger zone here.
Nothing but the bottom. First shot for Heidbreeder. You see Coach Wahlberg, we of course were quick to ask him in our phone chat about his star guard and leading scorer. He was priority number 1 in the portal offseason. But Coach Wahlberg didn't even mention his play for the first few seconds of his answer. He said, this is a kid that is just as good as advertised off the floor, a great student, a good young man, and he's a heck of a player as well. Spent last year at Clemson and then came back to the Mountain West. Hello, Tyler Rollison. Everything but the finger roll, as somehow it ends up in a tie-up, and the ball will stay with Nevada. So once again, a fortunate, maybe not so much fortunate, is that Nevada earns itself another possession there off of a miss.
This feels like a second chance point when it might not go there, but you know, we used to call this, Mike, and as much as I love TR, we used to call that $1 million move nickel finish.
Yeah.
And those ones are the ones you got to go down.
Everything but the bucket.
Yeah.
6-point lead, 6:20 on the clock. Heidbreeder hits the floor. They're going to call that an offensive foul as Camper was trying to get open. Coach Alford, as you can see, not in agreement. Ball to the Bulldogs, and a big possession on deck for Fresno State. Now they might look closer at it if my lip reading is up to par. I think Steve Alford said that's not a flagrant foul. And sure enough, we're heading to the monitor. I believe that's 2 visits if we're keeping track at home, maybe 3. We got all the time in the world. Let's get a look. Camper trying to get freed up here.
I mean, not a flagrant foul in my book. I mean, this is I mean, I guess maybe he hit him a little bit high, but I just don't know if it's a flagrant. I don't think he like maliciously went after him with that elbow, and I think he's just trying to get open, and he...
Sure enough, it is a quick look at the monitor.
Like, let's get your take. Do you like replay or do you not like replay? Let's go all sports.
Well, I know John Ramey don't like replay. Your partner on the radio most nights. I'm all about getting it right. I think the guys were a little too thorough here and just felt like they should go to the monitor just too, but that kind of breaks up the rhythm of the game a little bit, right?
It does.
There's no correct answer. I'm glad they don't review pass interference anymore in the NFL. That was a weird one-year experiment. By the way, can I get a Super Bowl pick?
Super Bowl pick.
Super Sunday on deck.
We talked about it. I do think the Seahawks do it. I think that defense is almost Legion of Boone Part 2, and I don't know. I just think that they're gonna come out and muck that game up, and they're gonna make it really hard for Drake and the Patriots.
All right, back to the action at hand. Heidbreeder right to the rim. What a finish! The English off the glass. He's got teammates from just about everywhere. I don't know the UK, though, but the English was there.
The English was there.
I will see myself out. 53-49. Bulldogs get their first field goal in a long while. Back within 4.
Big possession here for the Pack.
And another offensive foul. Comer hit the mid-range. Heidbreeder says we're going the other way. Price with an illegal screen. And the boos rain down again here at Lawlor. This game's getting a little clunky again, Nick.
It is getting clunky. I don't know where that call comes from.
It's right here.
Right here. I mean, he rolled into him a little bit. I mean, for a 4th foul, that seems a little bit tacky. But nonetheless, that's 4 on Elijah, and there's still 6 to go. I mean, you gotta, maybe this is Jariah checking in, but Elijah's got to be careful. He doesn't want to foul out of this game, and I'm sure they're going to go right at him.
Jack back in. He's got 4 as well. He kicks it out. Fans wanted to travel, a collective travel signal throughout the stands instead of foul on Nevada, and Steve Alford is as fired up as I've seen him in the last couple of months. He wants an explanation because suddenly what could have been a turnover ball to Nevada is going to be 1-and-1 free throws for Fresno State. Pardon me, make it 2 free throws. I believe you're seeing the father of Elijah Price right here wanting to travel.
Let's see here, Mike. I'm not sure. Jack is there. His feet kind of drag. I mean, they dragged a little bit there, but ball don't lie.
First free throw no good for Douglas. His first miss of the night. Entered 75% from the line. We saw Gorey miss 2 in a row not too long ago. Staring right at that raucous student section. Second free throw. Bottoms. Back to a 1-possession game. How quick does Coach Alford send Elijah Price back into this game? Approaching the 5-minute mark, packed by 3. Comer will drive, float game, glass way off, ball into Jack's hands, and now into Collins. Bulldogs pushing. Douglas will go right at Comer, stop, fade, floater, good. And the Bulldog faithful on their feet. We'll get a timeout called by Nevada. Mostly because Steve wants to give the official a little bit of his 2 cents. This will be a 30, so we will stick around. 53-52. I know folks aren't going anywhere at this point, Nick.
We said this almost feels like deja vu. It's going to be like almost a race to get this 60 or maybe 65 here, where it's an easy thing to do. Maybe not on a night like tonight, but I mean it's fingernail biting time at this point for everybody here in this gym.
As we get a look at that Fazekas 22 hanging in the rafters, I want to throw a little curveball at you, my friend, because I dug into the Nevada Sportsnet archives, baby. How about those uniforms? We're going back in the time machine 20-plus years. Nevada, Fresno State. You had some pretty good games against the Bulldogs.
I did have some really good games against the Bulldogs. Fresno was really, really good back when I played, right? I mean, they had some pros. They had the guys like Quentin Osley, McGuire. Obviously, Paul George came through there. We didn't quite get hit his time, but Fresno had very, very competitive teams, and they brought it each and every night. And I actually did always enjoy playing over there at the Save Mart Center. It was always kind of a fun arena to play in.
That's a great venue. Back to 2026. That was a fun trip on the time machine, though. Pack with the ball up 1. I do have another note on your time against the Bulldogs, though. When we have a moment, Weems is having a moment himself. That's a massive bucket and 1 out of the timeout. Weems can make it a 4-point game at the line, 4:36 to go.
Key point here, Mike, is Jock just fouled out.
That he did.
And that's going to be a big blow, as it may entice Coach Alford to bring Elijah back, especially if Jariah maybe doesn't match up so well. But no longer that big body down there to kind of create havoc. And I mean, Elijah has 4 as well, so they go back into Jock, and it was like he could have got 5, but it was kind of like the pack won the race to who could foul out first.
Jack fouls out 4 points in 20 minutes, 7 rebounds. He was a +7. He'll spend the rest of the night on the bench. Packed by 4. This is Coach Chavar now in. Reber with it. Kills the dribble, back out to Collins. 15 seconds to shoot. Collins, the cut, high breeder. How about Coleman off the glass? The SWAT team has been called on a Saturday night in Reno. Back up 4 to go with the ball. Rolisic, step back 3. Ball tipped around, stays with Nevada. Credit the effort.
Winning basketball players there, Mike, when you can get those 50-50 balls late in the game like that. Those are winning basketball plays.
Camper looking to reinsert himself, and he does.
Big time bucket there by Corey to push this thing out to sixes. Trying to get a couple people on their feet clapping.
Corey gets his hand in the passing lane there. It sticks with Collins, who will try to score on Camper. Instead, has to kick it back out. Coach Avar sees that long frame of Coleman, gives it up. Gorey, that's a big three. Around the rim and down. Back to a three-point game, 3 to go. Gorey leading all scorers with 17. Heidbreeder took a bit of a hit as he walks gingerly back to the bench. We've reached a timeout, and I think we all could use a breather. 3:01, three-point game. Buckle up here in the biggest little city.
Credit Union One offers everything you need to get the most out of your accounts every day. With digital banking, you can pay bills online, set up personalized budgeting tools, easily transfer money between accounts, and more. Plus, you can get paid up to 2 days sooner when you
Today's game on Nevada Sportsnet is presented by your Northern Nevada Toyota dealers and by Renown Health, Nevada's first integrated academic health system.
Winning time inside Lawlor Events Center. Nevada leads 58-55. Bulldogs back within a possession after a big-time shot from Deshaun Gorey, who leads all scorers with 17. No shot bigger than that one.
And there was no shot bigger than that, but the mistake that was made there was Caleb had kind of been double-teaming the whole game, I think, with Elijah in the game. And I think that was part of the game plan. And now you have Jariah down there without the mismatch, and Caleb went down there to double when he wasn't supposed to, and you could see Coach Alfred looking at him like we weren't supposed to double, which was what got Gorey that wide open three.
And so Gorey made him pay.
Those are kind of the bonehead plays that you got to pay attention to when it comes to the game plan, especially when it gets late in this game.
And those are the kind of plays, especially in the waning moments of contests, especially as you get toward March. Can't have those lapses. Nevada, though, still with the ball in the lead. Swinging around. Rollison in front of his bench. Yeah!
Nice answer by TR after giving up that three to Gorey. And the time is ticking for the Bulldogs.
Fresno State. Do the Bulldogs have another miracle comeback in? And Reber has a lane. How about the recovery defense led by Von Weems, as Reber thought he might have an easy two. Instead, the pack recovers and snags a 40th rebound of this contest.
Big possession here, Mike. I mean, you get one here, and it just starts to kind of turn into a time game.
Reber hit the deck. Rollison says, I'll go do something with it. Oh, how about Lowry taking it right off the rim and giving the pack another possession in an open Camper three.
Fresno after the big shot, and it's just been offensive rebounds, Mike. I mean, it's been second chances over and over with free throw blockouts, and then another block out there that Fresno wasn't able to get, and Corey made him pay.
You had mentioned not being at knockout punch territory a few minutes ago. 64-55. That may be the Mortal Kombat finish him move from Corey Camper Jr. Time will tell, because of course this is a Fresno State team coming off a game in which it scored quite literally a dozen points in the final minute or so. Although UNLV had to have a lot of miscues to make that possible. 20 points in the last 2.5 minutes Fresno State scored against UNLV.
That's impressive.
Running Rebels, meanwhile, bounced back with a nice win over GCU yesterday. I say that all to say Fresno State has been here, as in just a few days ago, but that was at home. And I don't know if Nevada's going to have as many self-inflicted wounds as UNLV had. And so the Pack might escape with a maybe closer than expected win. 1:48 to go, though. I won't get too far ahead of myself.
Corey just, he just didn't shoot the ball, I think, at Corey Camper level that sort of Pack fans are used to. But, I mean, 3 of 7 from 3 is still a solid night. It's just, I mean, he's been so hot from behind the arc that it felt like every time he shot the ball, it was going to go in. But, I mean, 3 of 7, I know I would take that back when I played. And, he just made a big one there to extend this thing out to 9. But Fresno is, they're going to need some big shots. They're going to need some things to go their way, probably some missed free throws, turnovers. They're going to have to try to find a way to mess up the rhythm with probably some pressing and some pressure to kind of get back in this thing. Because like you just said, Mike, it might have been the knockout blow by Corey right there.
Nevada has really turned it up on the defensive end in this second half, as Fresno State has had few good looks. As Gorey, that's not a great look. It goes through the hands of Weems. Give him a block. Give Nevada the ball. Campani auto group rebound tracker. At one point, Fresno State was the first to 10 boards, and boy, Nevada has come out and really overtaken that stat, and that has been a big part of this game. 26-12 paint scoring as well for Nevada.
Yeah, just kind of turned it up a notch with the rebounds. Like you said, it kind of just changed the game. I know at one point we said they were doubled up, and then it got back to even, and that was when it was 28-28. Now it almost became who could win the rebounding battle was going to win the game, and sure enough, Packer up 9 here, going back to the free throw line, and they're up on the rebound battles as well.
64-55. Rollison's fouled, goes to the line. He'll get 2. TR with 7 points in 21 minutes, 4 rebounds, 5 assists. Maybe a good time to just kind of reflect on the series history, if you will. Nevada has won 17 of the last 18 against Fresno State. Of course, next year, this Bulldogs team will be a part of the new look Pac-12. How about this, 115th meeting? Do you know, this is since 1924, by the way, do you know who Nevada has played the most? Second most is Fresno State. Who has Nevada played the most, Nick Fazikos?
The most?
I'm putting you on the spot
Goodness,
here.
I would have no idea.
Same state.
Is it? Is UNLV?
Hybreeder. No, sorry, same state as Fresno.
Oh, sorry, same state as Fresno. So that is a great question. I'm trying to think of who was in the league even when I was in the league. It was like San Jose State.
Bingo. Spartans. Got them by a couple meetings, but this is a series history that goes back over 100 years. Price is going to foul out as he will get a little ovation as he heads to the bench. 10 points, 8 rebounds against his former squad. Also a pair of really timely steals for Elijah Price, who, of course, we featured during halftime. This will be win number 70 for Nevada over Fresno State. Final matchup as conference foes, unless they meet, of course, at the Mountain West Conference Tournament. Want to point out, though, that first game in the 1924-25 season, Nevada won. Final score, 23-20.
20.
A real barn burner 100 years ago.
Oh, my goodness. 23-20.
Talk about a lid on the rim.
Yeah. The rim had to be crooked to be shooting 23 points.
Pat gets to 66. 66 might be enough to do it for Nevada. 66-57 your score. Under a minute to play. Fans starting to head for the exits.
It's really hard, Mike. I mean, as a Fresno State team, when it's just really difficult when you only score 57 points. I mean, you just can't expect really to win too many games, especially on the road. I mean, you just have to be you got to be a defensive juggernaut to score this low and kind of get away to win. I mean, Fresno did not shoot the ball very well, but Nevada almost shot it just as poorly. I think Nevada just made a better effort in the second half with the rebounds and second chance points, and just kind of exerted a little bit more energy.
You said it, advantage Nevada in a lot of categories. In the final 20 minutes of this one, as now a mass exodus will take place. 19.4 on the clock. You just saw Rollison get to double digits. 11 points, 5 assists. 4 of the last 5 shots for Nevada have went in, as now Nevada jumps into a significant week. It is a bye work week, as Nevada will have a bit of a break, and perhaps at great timing, as Nevada now heads to Viejas Arena a week from tonight, a Valentine's Day matchup with the class of the conference, San Diego State. Nevada has never left Viejas Arena with a win. Would that not be poetic in their final meeting as Mountain West foes?
It'd be huge. I mean, a Valentine's game with the Valentine's win would be really, really big, but it's a tough place to play. And San Diego State, like I've said in several other broadcasts, it's like they're kind of the king of the mountain, right? They're the king of the hill. They've been that king for several years now with the Mountain West, and I mean, but you have an opportunity that sits in front of you, and I think that's fun as a player. I think that's fun as a team that's had a good year, kind of let the one here at home against San Diego State kind of get away, and you know that game is winnable. So to go to San Diego State, I think it's going to be a really big test.
Nevada handles business at home, 69-59 over Fresno State. Bulldogs now hit the road for a tough one at Utah State on Tuesday. We're going to step away for a quick minute. Shannon Kelly will have our player of the game when we return.
They said they would announce the player of the game, have an interview, but until they do, I guess I will just continue talking about this game. Fresno State did get within a 1-point game, 53-52, but Nevada, for the last 6, 7, 8 minutes, really just came away, really stormed and just moved past Fresno State. It wasn't too big of a problem. The steal count was very big, 7-1. Despite having a pretty even points off of turnovers and also turnover total. That's what I meant. Just like the momentum that Nevada got after each one of their turnovers, the steals, they also got the advantage in rebounding. It was just too much for Fresno State. Once they got on a roll, they had like a 13-0 run in the middle of the second half, where Fresno State had a lead 45-40, and Nevada made it 53-45. And then there was pretty much no doubt that Nevada would lose this game. So with this win, Nevada moves into sole possession of 4th place in the conference, moving to 9-4 in the conference, 1.5 or half a game behind New Mexico, and 2 games behind Utah State and San Diego State. Nevada's next game will be on Valentine's Day against San Diego State on the road. They've never beaten the Aztecs on the road, so we're going to see if they can do that. That will be next Saturday on Valentine's Day. Also their last matchup as Mountain West foes. As for Fresno State, they have a matchup on Tuesday. They are on the road against Utah State. Both teams, so I guess both of their next opponents are atop the conference. We'll see both of those teams will pick up upsets, or if history will once again rewrite itself, as Utah State and San Diego State may run away with this conference. What else is there to know? Cam Camper was their leading scorer 1 game after his career high in points, scoring 35 against Boise State. Glory for Fresno State was the leading scorer. Nevada had a lot of points off the bench that also helped them win this game 69-59. But with that, thank you for tuning into the stream. I do think our broadcast here for CSN has ended, so I apologize for it not picking up the post-game interviews. But once again, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next stream.